guys, it's Teenage DC Fan back in another video, and Arrow's third season is one of its most uneven seasons, although it was interesting. But this episode from last night, following up the excellent season 8 premiere with an episode that draws heavily on season 3, is a weird flex. But that being said, it does work for the most part. So in Welcome to Hong Kong, Arrow explores the emotional toll of the premiere and what happens when you let grief and guilt drive you. Crisis on Infinite Earths definitely looms over Arrow's final season, but so does the past in interesting ways so far, because I feel like this last season is all about tying up loose ends and reconnecting us with past characters and past moments from the series. But anyway, we begin the episode with Oliver waking up in Hong Kong to find the Monitor, who redirected him, Diggle, and Laurel back to their Earth 1, Earth Prime, as they fled the destruction of Earth 2, waiting for him. Although the Monitor is annoyed that Oliver disobeyed him by interfering in the affairs of a parallel Earth and saving Laurel, he still gives him another mission, acquiring a scientist named Dr. Robert Wong. Why? Well, of course the Monitor doesn't want to tell him. And then he simply disappears as Diggle bursts into the room and warns Oliver that a local gang is attacking them. So after fighting through the gang, Oliver and Diggle are ready to dive right into the Monitor's latest mission for them. But the same can't be said for Laurel, because she's understandably more concerned about what happened to her Earth. Oliver tells her Earth 2 is gone, but of course Laurel refuses to believe it. So she sets off to find someone to fix the extrapolator and get her back to her friends and family on Earth 2, which, spoiler alert, aren't there anymore, because they got dead. Like, they dead. They so dead. Now, Arrow hasn't always known what to do with Laurel. There's been some weird plot lines here and there for the character, but thankfully, this is not one of those times, because the exploration of Laurel's grief over the loss of Earth 2 is some of the best material that this character has had on the show, and yields one of the best performances from Katie Cassidy. Now, as the episode unfolds, Laurel essentially goes through the 5 stages of grief, spending a lot of time on anger and denial. But you can't help but feel for her as she holds a tech guy at gunpoint while he fails to open a breach to Earth 2 for her because it just disappeared. And what elevates this entire arc is how the show ties it back to her redemption story. Laurel's upset because she lost everyone she loves, but also because she feels guilty that she, a former supervillain, survived when all those good people didn't. And it's stirring stuff, but thankfully Lila, who has dealt with her own survivor's guilt, is there to help remind her that the best thing she can do is honor those she lost by continuing down her path of redemption. And while all that is going on, Oliver and Diggle team up with Tatsu, aka Katana, who became Hong Kong's defender when she left the Crescent Order after giving them the Lotus Cure in Season 4. And they managed to track down Dr. Robert Wong, but China White, surprise guest cameo here, and the Triad show up and kidnap him. So in the fray, Oliver ignores innocent civilians as he chases after her, but of course she gets away. And from there they quickly discover that China White wants Dr. Wong because he recreated the Alpha Omega virus. And that's something that should have remained buried because it's, because it's stupidly deadly and one of the weakest aspects of Season 3. But seeing no other option, Oliver decides to offer China White a trade, the virus for the doctor. Now, haven't we been down this road before? And the answer is yes, because this all happened before. But Tatsu points out that this gambit didn't work when Masio tried years ago, and warns Oliver against single-mindedly devoting himself to a mission and letting his guilt drive him to sacrifice his humanity. And in case you forgot, that's what happened in Season 3. In flashbacks, Oliver's guilt over the death of Akayo, I don't really remember, but led to him torturing and murdering General Shreve, and then in the then present-day storyline, his guilt over Sarah drove him to risk his humanity and his relationships with his entire team in order to defeat Ra's al Ghul. But this time around, Oliver feels guilty for Earth 2's destruction because he disobeyed the Monitor's orders. But in the wake of that, Oliver needs to believe everything he does for the Monitor will be worth it because he's sacrificed so much, including his family already. And that's like a hard sacrifice to make. So, but Oliver ignores Tatsu's warning and goes through with the plan. Naturally, things go sideways because, of course, they do. And China White hands Dr. Wong over to them, but the good doctor is wearing an explosive vest, and China White is the only one with the detonator. So while Diggle goes after the Triad goons who took the virus and Oliver handles Dr. Wong, Tatsu goes after China White for the detonator. Unfortunately, China White manages to stab her in the gut and comes close to finishing the job. I thought she was actually going to die at this point because it's the end of the series, so you don't really need to keep all these characters alive because it's not like they're going to show up anywhere else. But Katana is one of those characters that can show up somewhere else. So, yeah. But luckily, Black Siren arrives in time and Canary cries China White into the water. And in the wake of Tatsu almost dying, Oliver realizes that the danger in blindly following the Monitor's orders, that there's consequences. So instead of handing Dr. Wong over to the Monitor, Oliver decides to travel to Nanda Parbat to learn more information about Marnovu and whether he's telling the truth. Little does he know that the Monitor has someone else working for him. Secretly, it's Lila Michaels, and at the end of the episode, Lila meets with the Monitor, gives him grief for not warning her about Earth 2's destruction before she sent Diggle there, and hands over Dr. Wong. So the Monitor says that Earth 2 was a necessary sacrifice, and that they need to ensure that Oliver is prepared for what's coming. It's clear that they've been working together for a while. In fact, the episode hints that this partnership may go all the way back to Lila's army days. While helping Laurel grieve, Lila shared a story about how she lost most of her unit while stationed abroad and prayed to every god possible to help her with his survivor's guilt. So Laurel asked if it helped, and Lila said, not exactly. But is that when she met the Monitor for the first time? It's definitely a possibility. And I think this is a great storyline because, of course, we know that Lila is going to become Harbinger for Crisis on Infinite Earths. And if you're a Marvel fan and you know about Galactus and Silver Surfer, just think about it this way. The Monitor is basically Galactus, and then Lila is Silver Surfer. She's like his herald. Like, he does stuff for him. Basically, what Oliver has been doing, retrieving items and doing stuff like that, is what Lila has been doing this whole time as well. But the past also weighed heavily on the future storyline, because Mia, Zoe, and Connor end up having a tense meeting with JJ Connor, and tries to reason with his JJ Connor tries to reason with his brother by bringing up memories from their childhood of how JJ used to stand up for him, but JJ tells him that kid is dead and gone. In fact, while they were sitting there chatting, JJ sent his men to infiltrate Team Arrow's 2.0's bunker and kidnap William because he wants to kill the Unification Project so that his gang can fill the power vacuum. And it's clear that JJ's difficult childhood is driving his evil actions in the present day. Only time will tell if Connor will be able to sway his brother off this dark path. So, yeah. Also, there's a few other random things from the episode that I'd like to note. So Arrow debuts a new saga cell in which Oliver declares he must become something more than the Green Arrow in order to stop the coming crisis. So you know how like the episode starts off and there's like the little tiny monologue from Oliver Queen? Well, now that's basically what he says. He says he must become something more than the Green Arrow in order to stop the coming crisis. I don't know if that means that he's going to become like a completely different superhero or like get powers or something. I don't know. It's confusing. Also, Oliver deciding to travel to Nanda Parbat reminds me of the final season of Justice League Unlimited, which also took a trip there in its final season. And then also, there was a part in the episode when a bit of dialogue that was like, his name is Mar Novu. You call that a real name? And even when she's grieving, Black Siren is very good with quips. Yeah, I just wanted to note that because I thought that was really funny. And Laurel can be a very serious character, but she can also have her funny moments as well. So this was a good episode of Arrow. Not quite as strong as the first episode of the season, but I'm definitely liking this season. So post your thoughts down in the comments below. Thank you so much for watching. Please remember to like, comment, and subscribe. And I hope to see you in my next video so I can bestow all my DC knowledge upon you.